Hello and welcome to my very first tutorial video. I'm super stoked you're here. Today I'll be showing you how I make wood-burned river art. I'll be using Moss Epoxy's tabletop resin to get detailed layers within my river pour, and I will burn a pet portrait into the finished board. So, let's get going! Yay! Okay, so first we're going to start by cleaning up the slab. Okay, well first we got to start by putting on our protective eyewear. Then we're going to start cleaning up the edges of the slab. I'm using a pole saw here to get all that loose bark off the edges, and then I'm going to sand it smooth all the way around on both sides. And how cute is this guy? This was just a test burn I did to check the contrast of the wood burning on the American chestnut. Flip it over, do the same thing to the other side. Clean up all those edges. We don't want any problems with air bubbles when we do our river pour. Okay, so now I'm moving it over to the table saw where I can cut this slab down to size. Checking my blade depth, a little higher, and voila. Careful, let's not lose a nub. Next, I'm just going to plane it down to the thickness I want. I know I'm going to be doing 4 layers of resin here, and each about 1/4 of an inch thick, so I want this board to be about 1 inch deep. So just plain, plain, plain. Round and round we go. Okay, so I always use melamine to build my formwork because if you have any leaks, the resin can be peeled off and the piece is used again. Here's my trick for getting the spacing right on my sides. I'll screw in one side of my formwork, flip it over, put my cut piece of wood inside, and then I just slide in the other side to see the exact depth I need and screw it all together. Boom. So here I'm measuring where I want my cross piece to be. I'm measuring it on the top, and then I'll flip it over, measure it from the bottom, and screw it in. Easy peasy. See? Look at her. Beautiful. Now I'm going to tape the corners of the formwork. This tuck tape is so great because it's red. You can see exactly where you're taping and make sure you don't miss any spots. This right angle I have is really handy for me to get into those corners and just push down big pieces at once. So I'm not using a 4th side. I'm just using this silicone underneath to stop any resin that leaks underneath the board. Slide the goop out with your scissors. Pull the edges in really tight with clamps, and that really is all the formwork you need. Okay, we're ready to pour. Here's a quick view of everything I'm using. I will link all the details in the description. Got my silicone cups and my reusable stir sticks. Don't forget you need to properly vent your space. I just throw this window unit in to dump out the fumes. Okay, here we go. I'm using Moss Epoxy's Tabletop Pro resin. It's a very easy 1-to-1 formula. It has a short working time so I can do multiple layers in one day. Here I'm adding my alcohol ink. It's my favorite go-to. I feel like it gives a really opaque color to my resin, and I want that metallic look, so I'm adding this Pearl X, Micro Pearl, and Carbon Black. Mix, mix, mix. These plastic stir sticks are great because you can wipe them down and reuse them, but honestly, you can do the same with a wooden one. Okay, then we pour, baby, pour. Look at that cool metallic texture. I love it. So since I'm going to be doing some hand-drawn line work on top, I don't want these swirls to be super dominant, so I'm actually going to do them right after I pour, so they kind of dissolve into this cool, funky pattern. Don't forget to torch, of course. These silicone cups are great. Use some double stick tape to clean out the insides after. Now after that first layer is cured, I'm going to add my clear coat on top to give a little dimension to my line work, so it kind of floats above. Here I'm just using some graphite paper to transfer my design onto the pour. This is actually a celestial overlay that charts the stars on a certain date over a certain location. In this case, the stars in the sky on the sweet pup's birthday over the town where she was born. Next, I grab my Posca paint pens and go to town. I start with the dots that charted the stars, and then I'm just going to freehand the line work from there and have fun. You can draw anything you want. Get creative. Boom, 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 boom. This is the fun part. I could do this forever. A few more freehand stars never hurt anybody. Now I'm going to add another clear coat on top to give us even more dimension. Ooh. And don't forget to torch, of course. After it's cured, I'm going to do the same thing all over again. More stars, more line work, just freehand drawing, whatever you love. I'm a bit of a space-obsessed girl, if you haven't noticed, so this dotted celestial line work has kind of become my signature. The paint is activated in these pens when you push the head down, so I usually just keep this Post-it pad nearby so I can boop, 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 and dot, dot, dot. Moss Epoxies offers these great cups too. These are just from Home Depot. They're also equally easy to clean. Maybe my preference because they're a little sturdier and easier to stir in. Mix slowly and carefully. Make sure to go all the way around the edges and stir until it goes from cloudy to clear. Okay, so this is my final clear coat. You've got to cover that paint pen with a layer of resin, otherwise it'll just scratch off. Don't forget to torch. Now you can remove your formwork. So easy at this point. Flip it over, unscrew, back over, and use your mallet to play whack-a-mole. Here I'm using this very scientific method of using my shop scissors to just wedge it under the corner and boop, and then the whole thing just peels up. Okay, now we're back in the workshop to square up these edges. For this project, the final size will be 12 by 12. I only had to run it through the planer once to level out the back. If you don't have a planer, you can always do this part by hand. And the front is pretty level, so I'm just gonna do the rest by hand. Now we just sand, sand, sand. I'll put the details of the grits I'm using in the description, but the key to a beautiful polished river pour is sanding. You can't skip any grits, you must do them all. If you get overeager and try to skip any grits, you'll never get the scratches out and you have to go fine. So consider it your shoulder workout and just keep sanding. Don't forget the edges. Okay, now the most zen part of this process, the wood burning. The trick with pyrography is keeping your nibs clean. I use a light sandpaper to clean mine, get that carbon buildup off so that you get a nice clean burn. It's not the greatest technique because it does wear down your tips faster, but to me it just works better. I have transferred my design here using the same graphite paper and now I'm just drawing. It's a slow process, but so satisfying. This project was a special gift from a group of friends to a girl who had just lost her sweet pup, Ella. So here I'm burning a special note from them in the back. Time for the big reveal. This is the most satisfying part, watching your piece come to life. Again, I'll list the materials used down in the description, but let's just take a moment to watch this baby be born. Okay. There she is, the big reveal. Reminder that the stars that I charted in this river pour chart the stars in the sky on sweet Ella's birthday over her hometown. Such a memorable piece and a way to honor your pet forever. Dog people are the best. Speaking of pups, I have to show you my sweet angel baby love muffin boy from heaven, Cosmo. Isn't he the cutest? Okay, that's it. First tutorial done. If you liked what you saw, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and comment below. It really does some fancy footwork in the algorithm and helps push my content to other people. If you didn't like it, just don't worry about that part. Just go.